Awesome.
Truly wonderful.
Awesome. All right. So throw this on record. So good morning,
Mhm.
everybody. We have a couple more people hopping on, so I'll just slowly add them, but then they can end up coming back because I often sort of do a little
Ah,
recap, but I just, want everything to be out there so that everybody can get it when they need it. And so I'm just gonna let a friend in. And what I was really called to talk about today, good morning. Just connecting to audio still. Um, and I think Shannon's probably trying to hop on too, but that's why. Hey, good morning, good morning. I figured I would throw it on record today just because I'm gonna end up talking about a lot of stuff that may resonate, and I know a lot of people want to end up being on the groups, but they don't always have that exact time in the morning. So just to make this accessible for everybody, so I appreciate you guys being on camera or on the call, and one of the things that I love is working one on one with people. So when I do, you get to realize a lot of the patterns that are going on, and you just see everybody making these really big shifts. And some of the really cool things that have come so clearly to me about this whole creative tension thing is that we make this our lenses where it's like we have this like telescope, right? And we're sort of little bits of this big desired reality. It's not that we are a totally different thing here. It's this journey. Everything that we've gone through so far, everything that we've learned was little pieces of this, those little stacking dolls they have, those stacking cubes, even it's all just breadcrumbs. This sort of end result of just, it doesn't have to be, like I always said, it doesn't have to be this extravagant business. It's just, where do you want to be with this time lift that you have when you're making absolutely every single moment count? It becomes so apparent that that's our biggest commodity is our time that we're spending, right? And we get to this point where we really want to kind of stop being in that monkey mind, letting that unconscious mind control us, but it's like we don't know what's in the way. And so I'd like to unpack this a little bit more today, because what I find is when I'm doing coaching or getting coached, one of the things that happens is when you're talking, when you're going through a process, a lot of times, or even when I'm coaching people, they're like, I don't know where the heck that came from. Like the thought that comes up when we're in the field, the things that we actually just play and allow and don't try and control are really the things that are are those little boulders. I had this picture of um there was a couple of metaphors that came into mind. Dory, not having that where she was going, so she just kind of went around, and whoever came about, she got trapped up into their drama in Finding Nemo, right? But as soon as she knew where she was going, she was so focused, and she didn't even know if she knew where she was going, but she had a plan and she was going to get there, and she eventually did. But it wasn't exactly the way she intended, and she kind of forgot along the way. It was very difficult. It became too much. They almost had to abort mission a few times. But when we actually know where we're going, you just have to keep swimming to make it there. You just have to keep going. That's the only answer. So what stops us from just wanting to keep going, right? And what it always kind of comes back to is those sort of core limiting beliefs, for whatever reason they have set in. And one of the fun things to do is just play in the timeline, because it's not like I I opened up my pages the other day, and a couple of years ago there was a woman who had reached out to me on Facebook just because I had commented something on one of Chris's many Facebook ads that were rolling through, just saying, this was awesome. And she messaged me privately and said, "Do you really think this is awesome?" And I was like, I really do. Yeah, I'm in the coaching program. Like, I love it." And she's like, "Well, if you can, if you can fix me, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Well, I don't want to fix anybody." But in my mind, I was still in massage therapy mode where they came in, I fixed them, and off they went. And so this is like the perfect first example of a client, because I wasn't even certified yet. And, I was talking with the guys at CEC at the time, and they're like, yeah, no, just go ahead and, um, point her to us. And so I would do that, and then she would come back and go, well, I missed my call, now I can't do it, this is stupid, and I'm going to go on there and just blast them. And I was like, listen, okay, I'll give you a session, no problem, right? So it was crazy, the notes that I had from it was this whole full scap of just, I've never made more than this, I like, just, it was nothing. I was like, all I asked her was, what do you want to create? And it was like, whew. So she had a great session. She felt great for a few days, and then a few days later, she started messaging me every day for hours, just, and it was the same exact thing. And I thought, well, geez, and she just expected that one recode to fix everything, and that was it. Everything was going to be changed. Her paycheck didn't change the next day. She didn't automatically get a raise. She didn't have money drop out of the sky. So she was done. That was it. And she went on his page and said, I've done everything, and this is garbage. He promised me a changed life, and I'm still the same, and da da. And she did nothing to try and change anything except for take about 15 hours of my time, where I was like in this whirlwind, and um, totally harassed them to the point where they actually had to like fire her as a customer. Like, it was crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And she had appointments with Dixie, and she had an appointment with Galit, and she totally blew them off. She had no idea what she was getting, because at the time they were doing appointments for him, right? And so the amount of things that she was given, she reached out to the universe. She had a one-on-one booked with Galit, and she completely blew it. And then they gave her another chance. So then they gave her that appointment with Dixie, and then she blew it. And she contacted me. I even contacted Galit and Dixie for her and said, like, listen, like, she's really trying to get in. They were like, sure. I had her on my schedule. I emailed her back. All she has to do is book the appointment, right? Like, they even each gave her a second chance, and she still gave it away. And she is still probably, if I had to just kindly break up with her, it's not you, it's me, whatever. I can't remember what I said. I should go back and look at that, because I think I saved it. But um there, she would probably still be in the exact spot, right? And it's not that she wanted to be there. She reached out. She knows that there are other ways, but we're so set in our patterns, and we're so set in our beliefs, that we simply can't move forward sometimes. Good morning, Margie.
Yeah.
So
Good
nice
morning.
to see you.
She wouldn't really do like the either.
I don't know if it's just me, but
Yeah, you can't expect to like walk into. Can you hear me?
oh, there we go. That's better. Yep, try again.
You can't like walk in, you can't walk into a curse situation and, like a one and done. I mean, like when you're talking about like body work and like chiropractic, I always loved to do it, like, because I saw my chiropractor as a maintenance. Like, that was just like, I went and saw him every week. That was, that just was part of my self-care.
Yeah.
And I used to love it when people would come in and be like, oh, I hurt myself, now fix it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
see
And
them,
you
and
can
they would be
hear
like,
them.
here you go, and he
Yeah.
would tell them like very honestly, like, this is a process, and it's going to take this many weeks to do this thing, but then you have to do the work that I'm not doing, which is to walk better, or stand up straight, or do different
Exactly.
motions that your job requires you to do, but do them safer. Like I work with PT people and stuff too, and it's just like,
Yep.
the last time I was in PT, my physical therapist was like, you are my best patient, because
Yes.
you do all the stuff that I tell you to do after you leave the office.
Yes.
And then you come back and you're improved each time we see each other. You have improved. You have gotten stronger. You have done this because you're doing the work.
Yes.
Nobody else does the work. They just come here, they get their service, and then they go and they keep doing the rest of the regular stuff. And that's the thing
huge,
about
Kayla.
This is like, you have to know that you're taking a responsibility for your own life. Yes, the coaches are there. They're there to guide you.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to say you've been amazing to me, because I know I was a train wreck in the beginning. But
you're so cute. Yeah, trust me, this has nothing. This is not you. This was I would never say that.
I'm just saying. I was like, whoo, baby. Because I know I was a lot at first. But it's just that stuff. Some of that stuff, like even yesterday with the fundamentals, it's like I had no idea that was there,
Yep,
right? Because there's some stuff that we just have so buried that
exactly.
we don't know it's tied to this like core ideal, right? That
That's
was
it.
tied to a core ideal. So once I was able to like kind of break that down, I was like, oh, well, shit, I don't believe that anymore. Like it was
Right.
really so yeah, last night was really powerful. But
And that's
um
it. That's it. And
yeah, but
there's kind of,
if you don't know, you can't figure it out.
you're
And
right.
it's not even from like a fixing, it's like a okay, so now let's break that down. Like that's not serving anymore. Let's just, let's get it out of there.
And that's
And
with every emotion and limiting
yeah,
belief, if we can just observe it,
yeah.
right? Okay. And those people are, that's like, 3% of people are like you, where you really want it. Like, the thing is you've stayed wanting this, so there's no way that I'm not going to help you get there, like that's just
Right.
right. Like, I'm going
Yeah.
to do my best, and that's just like, and when you want it, that's when you're going to get it, because that's that whole
Right.
difference of staying in that creative, right? We have that creative reality, that desired reality, realizing that it isn't literally different in that desired reality if we're still kind of staying,
Right. That was
because
the
we
other
can't
thing
even
that
see it,
yeah.
right? Like, it can't even really be clear.
Well, and I had my notes. Yeah, I had my notes
Yeah.
from Galit last night because I think I had like an aha moment with her when she was going over the CR and DR.
Right.
And
Yes.
this
Yes.
time, I've watched Chris, I've watched everybody go through that, and it's like, yeah, okay, I think that's a good concept, blah blah blah. Like I get it, but last night she really used the right language, and I went, oh, and suddenly like there was a mindset shift, because
You know
she
what it
went instead of
was?
like
You were finally ready to
current
hear it.
reality was the not enough, right? Yeah, she said the current reality is that it's not enough, and the desired reality is that it's better, right? Because that's always like the loop that we get stuck in.
Mhm.
And then she goes, proper tension is your current reality is good enough. And I know that's true because I've had days like that, and they
Mhm.
were fantastic. They're
Right?
absolutely fantastic. I was like, no, I am totally content where I am right now. This is great. I'm very, very happy,
Yep.
but I still want more. And
Exactly.
that was the big one. And so it went good enough is what you where you're at, and want more is, and I was like, boom. Like, what?
Exactly.
Oh,
And now,
and now the
today,
tension feels right. Yeah.
yes.
So yeah.
And that is the tension, right? And that tension is consistently you getting into that bigger space, that kind of tension. Not that we're, like, that's how we relieve the tension. We get closer to it, right? We literally, instead of having, and it means something different now, because we're at a place where it makes more sense, because how many times have we heard it? But we're ready
Yes.
to hear it. We're ready, only because that particular day, that particular time, and that particular moment, your everything was leading up to that, so that this moment could just literally be seen, be felt, be observed, because it,
Right, Mickey. Yeah, boom.
right, it wasn't safe, whatever it was, right?
Yep.
It
Yep.
finally can. So now, what is on the top of that triangle to keep that tension in that triangle? What is the next obvious action, right? So I want you guys to think about something today that you're a little bit, just something you're a little bit, maybe feeling a little bit stuck with, just something that you want and that hasn't happened yet, that there's some tension going on still, like, I mean, obviously we have a bajillion little layers of onion, right? So there's one that's just literally going to unfold to you right now, and it could be just literally like, um I just really, what do you really want that you haven't created yet? You really want a book, or you really wanted to, you really want to start journaling, you really want to, something that you just haven't created yet. It can be something big, it can be something small. But when you think about the end result of where you really want to go, what you really want to feel, is it abundance? What's that abundance going to give you? And why can't you go for that right now? Right? So Now, if you were to think about the next obvious action to get to that true choice, and if you can't think of one, I want you to use being the predominant creative force in your life, because when we take that power back, when we really go, you know what, like, I got this. This is, like, I why can't I just be happy? Why can't I just have a couple hours a day? I just want a couple hours a day to be in my garden and weed, because in the last few days I've planted and I found myself being out there the next day looking for those sprouts already. And I was like, Jackie, it takes a week. Like, I know, but I'm looking, I'm out there, and I'm like, "Ah," and I'm like, that's another weed, right? So I have to get out there and I have to be weeding. And while I'm doing that, I'm listening to a call and I'm doing some stuff, to just keep myself in that tension, because it feels so good to be kind of exploring this stuff every day, because there's a lot of layers in that onion. And for some there's more than others, right? And the we're only going to uncover the ones that we need to uncover when we're ready. And it's just, this is a big shifting time, and it's just been happening. Every single session is like we're just negative belief flipping, and we're just like we're kind of going all over. So it's been a lot of fun. So we'll see kind of where we need to go today. But one of the things that I wanted us to do was really look at something that we just really want to create that we haven't yet. So do you guys have something in your mind that you can think of, even if it's just being that predominant creative force in your life, or just a life you love? Those are two really, really good ones. Um, so if you're, like I say, if you're not 100% sure, just pick one of those. But if there's something that you really are stuck on, now where in I want you to kind of go into that feeling. We're going to go into that true choice right now for a moment. So I want you to just literally close your eyes. If you've written it down, if you've just got it in your head, I want you to just literally feel it. We're going to go to the place where you have it. Literally just have it. We're just playing in the timeline. We're just taking a couple nice deep breaths. Now, this is something that you really want. So when you have it, what does that feel like? What is that feeling, that emotion, that energy that you put into motion? And I want you to feel right now, while we're in this field, what it's like right now, today, at this moment, not in the past, so give yourself a little grace, because it's probably not as stuck as it used to be. It might just be something brand new. It might be something you've never wanted before. But if you really choose this, I want you to just notice. It's non-judgmental. It's just literally, where am I now? I feel like we're all pretty positive. We're all sort of going in such good directions. But there's something that's, just a little sticky. It's made it, what's, you know, what is that feeling that makes it difficult? If you were to think about that end result, that true end creation, and what do you believe about yourself in that true end result? Does it feel different now than it does there? What is it that's causing that difficulty of just sort of feeling that? What comes up for you? If you guys want to, you can share in the chat, even if there's a feeling, if there's something that comes up for you. What is to just simply believe that you are that end result. You're there. You're completely happy. Is there something that comes up? Maybe not feeling like you are loud, or just that whatever pops into your head. We don't even want to think about it too much. This is playing in that field. This is allowing those thoughts to come. We make this creative tension so that thought can plop in for you. What's ready to just be observed today? Ask the field, ask superconscious to just show you today. What is it about my beliefs that are making it difficult to just have this? What is that resistance? If you were to really have it right now, what would you believe about yourself? Like you've really got that end result. Would you keep it? Will you even get there? What about when you think of taking your power back? When you think of just literally being that powerful, creative person that's just wearing what they want to wear at any occasion, doing what they want to do during the day. If it feels like other people are holding you back, what does that mean? Does that mean we're letting them? What if we were to look at that? And I want you guys to just notice what came up for you. And I want you to think about those little things. What does it mean? What does that really mean? Does it mean that a lot of times it's just like there's a small part of us that doesn't feel capable. We don't feel like we have it in us to do, but we do, or we wouldn't be seeing this end result. We wouldn't be pulling towards this in the first place. This wouldn't be, we're seeing that bigger doll, that it's already there. It's just these smaller pieces are just coming back into it. So why can't we just bring them all together? What's coming up for you guys? Anything you want to share? We have a group where we have enough of us that we have time to kind of dive into that a little bit. I want to hear how that felt for you guys.
Um, I was just thinking that I might need to double bubble this money situation that I have right now
Yeah, there's big
because
stuff, there's a
it's
lot involved, right?
yeah, but I mean like if I could just I mean I know what I want out of it, but when I double bubble I tend to just try to like dissolve the both halves, you know, and kind of
Hmm.
be like
And make your clear
okay in the
choice.
middle. Um yeah, and it's like I'm pretty sure I know what the clear choice is. It's but the the issue that I'm having right now is um I really don't know how to get that next step to completion. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
done all the other actions that I can think of. I only have one more action that I could try. But after that, I'm literally out. Like I don't know what else to do. Um Nothing else has come into the field that was new. Nothing else is, you know, I tried yesterday to try to figure out like alternative stuff and you know, I honestly I'm like, I don't know what else I'm supposed to be doing. And
It's
it is something that's gonna affect me for the next 6 months, but and it'll hurt me a lot for the next 6 months. But I keep feeling like I have to just throw it back at him and be like, no, this is really something you need to handle. Like, um, but he's teaching me about teamwork, so that's a really weird dynamic issue I'm having.
So I hear you're getting a lot of lessons from everything that's being shown to you, right? Like
Yeah.
everything is kind of coming to you for a reason right now. And often when we look when we hear I've done all the things because I've been watching you. But when we break down your day, it's not about what you're focusing on. Are you getting your course out? But are you allowing yourself to just choose to have a life that you really are that predominant creative force and take um take that
Take
and
control. Yeah.
surrender to that, like knowing what it is you want to do, and allowing those thoughts, like literally kind of allowing those thoughts to not it's like we try and control what we put in our filter, but the best way to get the right things in the filter is to actually sit and surrender in meditation, even in silent meditation, just literally asking, what do I need to do next? And the things that will come to you are not maybe what you've already done. There's just because you have one more thing in your brain and in your sort of under, maybe that's not it. Like sometimes the divorce is what actually gets us to the next stage. Sometimes the not doing what we were doing gets us to the next stage. Sometimes maybe you look at that and go, well, maybe that's just not what I'm supposed to do. Maybe is there something else I'm supposed to do? We surrender to that. Boom, I got the goosebumps going down to my toes right now, because this is a new, like, this is, you are, there's so many things that you could do. You have all this stuff under your belt,
Yeah.
but maybe it isn't what you've already created because you're in a different space right now. So, what can you create right now? A lot of times we're trying to just do what we did in the past, but the past got us to where we are now because we're not supposed to be there anymore. We went through that. We don't want to be in that anymore. So, we look at it and go, okay, so if I don't want to be in this anymore, where do I want to be? That's the whole. I just said what Trisha says 1,000 times, where's your focus? Right? It's simply where the energy goes, the energy flows. If we're focusing on these old things that weren't working, maybe we need to try something new. Who know? We don't know what it is. That's where we all of a sudden meditate and our hands start going, oh my gosh, I need to be doing the energy work. Like I say, I didn't think I was gonna, and my hands are just like, now they're buzzing. Like I didn't plan for this to happen. I didn't 2 years ago have any clue that this is the way I'd be coaching. I didn't. I thought it would be all about hormones and physical. I was going to dive into the massage. Like it wasn't what I intended. But this is the most beautiful thing, is I had to learn how to surrender to let this happen.
Right.
Because
But
the
your true
things that,
nature has always
right.
been energy manipulation. Yeah.
Yes. And right.
Yeah.
And is yours like
And
it's
you knew that as a kid. That's kind of that stuff about with Galit going talking life. It's not about like saying like we knew this stuff,
we
and then
did.
we forgot. We just
Yes.
forgot that we were like amazing beings that could do all these amazing things. We just
Yes.
forgot because we got sucked into the meat suit thing, and we were like, oh God, we have to keep this meat suit alive.
Yes.
God help us, what are
So
we gonna do?
for for you, like I feel like brand new patterns, like that's this octopus that you dreamt of the other day. It's a
Oh, I know.
shapeshifter. It
It
sees
was
the
so
square
beautiful too.
container and it goes, okay, I'm gonna figure out a way to get in there. It wasn't what I was intending on, but this is great. It's my way out. Like this is everything kind of happens at the right time. So the old things weren't working. What else is out there? Like it might blow you away. The next thing that you see is going to just inspire you, not to have to buy another thing, but to create what you want now, because you've
Mm-hmm.
literally seen someone else do it. I saw someone else the other day do, actually, I won't get carried away in my stories. You guys share. How about you, Heather? How did you do with that?
With me, it was first, it was my ex husband. I could hear him criticizing me. And then I went further. Well, I'm being hurt by his harsh criticism, but what is it in me? Why am I accepting that? So then I went back to my childhood feelings, and it's the feeling that, you know, I'm insignificant. So it's like it's kind of like telling me that I'm just daydreaming with these goals, these plans, this
Mm,
I love type of thing.
mm.
Because my belief is that I'm insignificant. So how can possibly an insignificant person have plans, have goals, have dreams, you know? So
Yes.
that's 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 the nugget inside of me that is kind of throwing the monkey wrench subconsciously at me,
I
you
love it.
know?
I love
It's
it.
it's
That's so
and
big. That's so big.
with
Because you
that
can
there's
look at
a lot
that, right?
a lot of pain with that belief. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Just
Yes.
bringing it up, it makes my heart swell because it's so painful to
Yes.
feel that feeling that you don't belong, you're insignificant, who, like,
Yeah. Because, I
well, that,
mean, when you look at it, is there anybody that's less significant than anybody else? Like, isn't that amazing? It's simply not true. Like, no one is less significant. Who decides?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But
It's
at one time we adopted
log-
that.
that's the logical part of the brain
Yes.
analysis saying,
That's the
well,
conscious mind.
they're all lovable, but in my own heart, I'm still throbbing at that that core belief that I'm insignificant, I don't belong, shut up, just go melt away somewhere,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Because you were told that probably way more than once as well. Things that would have kind of, instilled that feeling. And it's not that it's all, it's not that it's all a lie, because you were really told that, and you have based a lot of decisions on that. And one of the fun things we'll do a little negative belief flip on that, just to, because we're going to go back, because there's events that you're not even, when we do this, the things that come up you didn't even know were in there, and that's actually where it started. And that was how this crazy game of conscious versus unconscious mind led you on a whole bunch of decisions throughout your life to confirm that, because it was told and it was made a belief, and that is what creates action, and that is what creates reality. It's like, are
yeah,
you kidding me? I've been doing this all these years.
I see where, I allowed people in my life
Yeah,
that weren't loving because
yeah,
I did not love myself. So
yeah,
I was with someone like him and others that were not loving people.
yeah.
So it just confirms that my own self image, I reflected it with the people
Yes.
that were in my life.
Yes.
So,
Yes, it's true. They say, if you want a good look at your beliefs, look at the people around you, because they were brought in at that time often to help you to really instill those beliefs. Whether they, sometimes though, they really do honestly love us and want the best for us, but they we don't receive it, right? So then that's when you can actually realize that there, I mean, there are your good people, there are those people that are in your
Yeah,
life because they need to be, even if you have little arguments, you can deal with it, like it's,
right,
things
right.
that,
The
but if
reason
it's
reason season their lifetime.
right, if it's stuck, or if it's a stuck
Yeah.
creation, it's something that's not allowing you to move forward. And so that's, that's where we can get stuck, because sometimes we stick ourselves with people that will keep us from moving forward, right? And sometimes we choose to even not have those people in our lives, but yet we still allow them, and they still don't let us move forward. So sometimes it's even, finally
Yeah.
being at the vibration where it's just not going to resonate, and that's a layer of the onion that peels. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it doesn't feel like a good thing, right? But the grass is always greener, uh, exactly where we are, right?
I I had a moment like that with my best friend about a week and a half ago.
Yes, because
And
it's
I've had
probably
we've
there's,
we've been together for a long time, and
yeah.
we've gone through periods where we didn't talk to each other because we weren't in alignment. and
Mhm.
and now, she's finally taken interest in her life. She's finally like trying to progress and do things, but it's at a different level and a different stage than I'm at right now. And
Mhm.
so the things that she said to me were very, very much still in an old mindset. And so I just went, Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back and I talked to my daughter and she went, well, but you still love her, you still want to be friends with her. I was like, yeah, but I don't know that I can give her my time and energy right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to be discerning on how much of
because
a straw you give them to
because I'm
suck,
like,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I already knew that. That's why I've been kind of giving her pause. But I was just like, the time that we spent apart, I came back and she's still very hypercritical of me. So I'm like, she's still she's still punishing me for Latter-day Sins.
Yep. Yep.
So she had come at me and
Yep.
was like, hope you're not going to do that stuff again. And I was just like, wow, that was so me a long time ago. I don't know why you're bringing her up.
She has her
I
limiting beliefs
promise I
are
won't, because that's not even me anymore. Like,
right.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Her limiting belief is having to be
So,
perfect, being hypercritical like that. It's funny. Yeah.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
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 It's
And she needs
interesting,
to be
right?
needed too.
You,
So she ends up surrounding herself with people that eat her
that's
alive.
right.
Yeah.
And you just see this. You just start to see this,
Yeah.
right? And then you can observe
Yeah.
it and just
Well, that's
choose what you
always
want to
been
be
true.
around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
about you, Margie? I saw you pop on
Exactly.
there. How did you do with making a choice? Oh, you're muted still, love. You gotta hit unmute. You
Okay,
can't
got
talk.
it.
There you go.
Got it.
Gotcha. Hi.
I realize I'm not here. Um, I'm listening, and one thing I realized I don't think I've shared this. Um, I always had in my head, okay, I've lived in the same county my whole life, okay, in California. And one thing that's really hard, I'm gonna say this, that when I travel, and I love to travel, people hate California. They have this preconceived awful thing that we're all crazy, and we're not. We're not crazy people, and it's really hard. But
I would
I
say quirky.
Quirky.
yeah, well, we're all quirky, aren't we?
Right.
And I mean, I'm going through this reality check. I'm turning 73 this year. Okay.
Amazing.
This is a big thing for me. My mom died last year at 99 and a half. And I always said when mom passed on, my dad died about 15 years ago and he was almost 96. But I always said that when mom died, I was going to move somewhere. So I've been pursuing that a bunch. Last year, I spent a lot of time with the guy in Idaho. And he has stage 4 esophageal cancer, but he's in remission at the moment. And, I recently got this notification, not from him, I just came out of nowhere, that people that have stage 4 esophageal cancer have less than a 5% chance of living. And so I'm really trying to, put some energy into that. But I've been traveling and looking at different places to live. I've I have a brother in Florida and I've been there, but I don't think I can handle the humidity. And I have friends that I visited this year. I have friends that moved to Texas. I know I'm not going to move to Texas, but I like every place I go. I honestly do. I would move to
Absolutely.
Barcelona,
Me too.
but
Anywhere. Just
yeah,
anywhere.
anywhere.
Yeah.
But realistically, I'm not going to move out of the U.S. And I went to Tennessee not that long ago, but I recognize the people that I'm visiting. They're all couples. I'm not a couple. I'm solo. And this came up for me last night again. I live in a really incredible place. I do, and it's fantastic. But um, it's a wine country destination. It's become this, kind of wild and crazy in the sense of now. I mean, they're putting up new housing apartments that are going to be between 1 million and $9 million for a view of a parking lot. And
Wow.
I'm I'm just going, I mean, I don't, I'm not wealthy. I'm not rich. I live in a 55 and older community. And it's nice, but when I'm surrounded by this craziness. And some of my friends and I were hanging out last night. We're just going, and some people have moved on and come back to visit. But I keep going, I don't know if I can handle living here that much longer. And what do I do? Where do I go? I don't know.
Very cool. I love it. So one of the things that is opening up to you now is what is it about traveling? What is it that you really, I mean, Margie and I talked yesterday and it's like make every moment count, right? So
Mhm.
what do you want to do? Do you want to have a home base where you can just kind of actually travel? There's a wonderful lady in this group that wants to get an RV and just start traveling around, and she kind of wants to do the same thing, like just literally see the countryside, right? Like
Well,
there's,
maybe
right?
I can just say,
Maybe
say,
you two
hey,
just
you
needed
want to
to
do
hook
it
up
together?
because it's not, I mean, you go somewhere and it's like, I really wish I could share this with someone right now. Like I
Right.
remember traveling all over the world by myself, and I'd be sitting on my steps on my little country. I was in a little country. It's funny now. I think of this little country house on Uncle Bob Road in the Grand Caymans in the middle of nowhere, just like I am now on the end of the road at the end of a road. And that's just where I like to live. Apparently, that was like when I had full choice, that's where I wound up when I just surrendered to the universe and said, what am I supposed to do? The place, even how I wound up at that place was crazy. But it's still to be there completely by myself going, this is the most beautiful moonlight I've ever seen. And I didn't have a cell phone or anything at that time to tell people how beautiful it was. You can't share. You want
Yeah.
that connection, right? So is it
Yeah.
connection that you want? Is that more important? Maybe you kind of need to have your friends. So this is the beautiful thing about jumping into the field and just kind of going, you know what, super conscious field, just show me every way possible that I could just have a life I love. And it's like raindrops just come in to show you these beautiful moments that are in that bigger doll that we are already a part of. It's beautiful. It's just we don't allow ourselves to listen to that sometimes, right? So
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
mean,
you can do
I'm
that when
not,
you're in
I'm
the
not,
field.
I'm not afraid to travel by myself. I mean,
No.
I had to travel by myself for work, and I've been to incredible places. I was in Malaysia not that long after 9/11, and, everybody was absolutely wonderful to me. I've had some fabulous times.
Wow.
I think I want a home base,
Yeah.
but if I had unlimited amount of money,
Yeah. But you
I
could.
think I'd be on the road all the time.
Yes. And you know
Yeah.
what? Where there is a will, there's a way, right? So as soon as you
Yeah.
kind of know I want to be on the road all the time, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know exactly how that money's going to get there. It does
Yeah.
come in the weirdest ways. It's so strange. And it may well be that you guys might have this famous Thelma and Louise blog that goes viral and crazy all over. Like, so it's, I love this. We're going to have to include Samara in here. Margie and Samara's road
Yeah.
trips. I hope she
Thank
knows we're
you.
setting it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's do
awesome.
it.
How about you,
Thank you.
Nikki? Oh, you're so welcome. I love you, Margie. How are you doing there, Nikki? Did you come up with anything? You're so flowing. I always assume people that are like, yes, I got this, may have a harder time thinking of something that you're stuck, but there's always something that we want. Chris can always even think of a choice he wants, even if it's doing something next. You don't even have to share what it is, but is there anything that you wanted to share at all about just doing that quick moment in the field before we go into a little flip?
Yeah. Well, it was very interesting listening to everyone because I'm from New York and people have all kinds of perceptions about New Yorkers.
Right?
As much as I've lived here for 18 years, but still, life's for what it's worth, where I feel, what I really truly believe, you can have an adventure everywhere, anywhere. And I'm not just saying that. That's where I am.
Yeah.
And I'm 52 years old. You want to put age to it, but I've never felt as young, as vibrant, as healthy, and as prosperous as I've ever felt in my life. I mean, I had just to give up with ex-partners and relationships and everything. You put your soul into something, and then it's a divorce. It just goes wrong, yeah. But then that was the best time of my life. And I mean that when I say that. It was the hardest time because, you know, when you invest in something and something goes terribly wrong and it doesn't work out, and you have to make that decision because it was very violent for me. It was domestic, you know, it was very, very serious. And I had to say, no more. This is enough. Yeah. And as a person that really has faith in everything that I like to think, that I think of in person or in anything, I have to come to the stage to say no. And even in that decision was, and I say it was, yeah, it was 18 years, 19 years ago. I mean, that was the best decision I could have made for my life. And I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally mean that. And I lived in a little one-room apartment, like literally, and like a little studio kind of thing, yeah? And it's like, it was the best time of my life. I was the happiest I've ever been. You know, having to have my work down the road, and I could like literally start, you know, that stage I was working for myself, but then I could employ others, and it was just the best time of my life. You know, people
Nice.
didn't want to leave the salon. I mean,
Nice.
it was like it turned into a club in the evenings. It
I
was
love it.
crazy.
I can imagine.
And no, honestly, this is the
Yeah.
truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look back and you think to yourself, oh my God, like all these things. And I heard Heather when she said all that, because what I've come to realize now, to dissolve the egoic agenda, yeah, this unworthiness, you couldn't be more worthy, yeah, this insignificant, this not perfect, not enough,
We
you
can't
know.
be more.
It is just what we took upon ourselves because
Yeah.
that's how we needed to deal with the pain.
Yeah.
We needed to deal with the pain. And it
We did.
wasn't even in our conscious awareness of knowing what was happening. We just perceived. I
Yeah.
mean, people think about things all the time and people haven't even said anything.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me yesterday, oh, duh, duh, duh. I said, I didn't even think that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even, oh,
Yeah.
because you were looking. I said,
I
yeah, I
find that
look,
all the
I
time too.
listen.
Yeah.
And I said, that's your perception, isn't it? And I said, no judgment, but can you understand how people are just human, hey?
Yeah.
You must
Exactly.
remember we're still human.
Exactly. My
And
daughter, sorry, no, go ahead. We are
no,
human.
that it was just human. And
Yeah.
so this creation where we get to really choose it now, what do you want to create? That when Jackie said to that client, what do you want to create? I mean, that's the best part of life. It's like, what do you want to create? I want to create a good life. I want to
It's
create a nice meal.
yes.
You know, I just want to create great connections and bonding
Yeah.
and having fellowship with people that I choose to be with.
Yes.
You know, I'm not around people um, that basically, no offense taken to anyone, but I'm around people in right here, right now, where I am. I
Yeah.
choose every single one of you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I spend my time in people that I know. When I walk away, I'm feeling better about myself. I've learned something,
Yes.
even if I have to just listen, you know,
Yeah. Absolutely. And
and
sometimes
it's a
we learn the
gift.
most from listening, right? Like we
Yeah, it's a
really
gift.
do.
It's
We really
really,
do.
really a gift. So
Yeah.
even in the worst scenario of thinking, oh, this is what happened to me and it's devastating,
Yeah.
it's that letting to know that that was what happened. But
Yes.
now the fact that you can let it go because you are the one that's holding your creation in your own hands.
It
You
is.
know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
resistance of reminding of what your ex-husband said to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I let me tell you, you know, when things progress and I think, wow, I'm so grateful. And I can like sitting with my husband last night, having a meal outside. We
Yes.
just picnic outside, you know, we didn't get, you
Yes.
know,
So
that just,
beautiful.
and it's not a restaurant, it's not
Yeah.
spending thousands or hundreds of
Exactly.
dollars. It's
Just
like having
connecting.
your little homemade meal outside on a little table, putting a little like little cloth on, you know, having a little
Yep.
something to drink. And
Yep.
it couldn't have been it could be anywhere in the world. I could be
Yeah.
anywhere in the world. Yeah.
And it
So
could
it's
have
got
gone
nothing to do.
any
Yeah.
other
Sorry,
way
Jackie.
too, right? Like it wouldn't
Exactly.
have always been, but you guys choose to connect.
Yeah, and this, like I said, you know, there's no shame. There's no shame in what you've gone through in your life. it's all meant to be where you are now. And where you are now, you get to reap that rewards because you have the experience. And I really feel as we get like on in age, it can get even better and better and better because there's no time.
I agree.
There's no time and space when it comes with the age. Like, you know, we all say we're 72, we're 52, we you know, you know, you can live, like Chris says, you can live your life, and not have a, you know, not be in the sense of how he says about super conscious, you know, having a conscious awareness. I rather live now, this 3 years of my life being in this work, but also this education of just insights and I mean, I was so torn apart by what people thought of me and what they told me, and I grew up with such harshness, and I think, oh my God, thank you that it stops here with me. It doesn't go further.
Yes, because that's the thing, right?
It really doesn't go further. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Nope.
And it's not just treating my son or my husband. I'm talking every single human being that I come across.
And those going forward doing this work, when they go into something like a negative belief flip, where we actually go along your timeline and see there's 7 generations past of not feeling significant that we hang on to sometimes, right? We don't know where that original event is usually. And it takes the negative belief flip takes about 10 minutes, and I feel really bad, but my other group is starting right away. So what I want to do is, just because we not uncover, but because we opened up this layer of this onion, I feel like just going into a really quick sort of alignment recode, just to touch on everything, because we have done some big work lining up our brain to really think in this one direction together. And that is when the most beautiful stuff can just come to us. So if you guys are okay with just spending a few minutes in the field with me, just imagining for a moment, you can just close your eyes if you can, and just imagining your cells all just filling with oxygen when you breathe in. And it's like that oxygen is just this light, almost like this helium that's starting to just fill up your cells, and just almost feels like lighter than air. And just notice the breath coming in and out of your body. And when you exhale, I want you to exhale as much as you need to get a little bit grounded. Just bring yourself down. And feel that exchange of in and out happening, that energy just starting to hold you like universal energy does, just in this safe, beautiful space of light energy, as you just imagine every muscle in your body starting to relax. And we're just going to play in the field where we see that big, beautiful Russian doll at the end of our true desires, or where we're going. I want you to bring that point in, that choice that you have. And we're just going to ground ourselves into that choice for the day of truly making each moment count, being the true predominant creative force in our life. And I just like the superconscious field to show us all of the ways that this is possible right now, and just flood us with raindrops of ideas just coming into our active experience to show us all the ways that we can have this connection, that we can travel the world, that we can create a life that we just love, or simply just create that choice that we're stuck on. Create true abundance in every way, but following our joy there. Just choosing to follow your joy to abundance. And superconscious, please bring up any resistance in this true choice, any of those old limiting beliefs, any of those feelings of not belonging or not feeling significant enough to have it. Treating any of those old emotions of not wanting to be seen, not wanting to be judged, and not wanting to hurt anybody, not wanting to disempower anybody. Tagging and treating and cleaning all of those up into the active experience right now. Going through all past timelines, all those original events that may have caused feelings to start to come up that way, to make us start seeing these false stories that other people had us try and believe, and just understanding that it's not the truth. Doing a massive change history on all that. And I'd just like to ask that all parts and personalities, all those inner wounded child, all of the parts that made those decisions way back in the womb, even before the womb, maybe when we even found out that it was going to be, the parents had just found out and there was fears, we're going to let all of those go. Be treated in the superconscious field to instead help us create this powerful, beautiful life that empowers others from a full cup, and just doing a massive change history on all that. Just helping us move forward in the timelines, making decisions from different perspectives. We're going to go back and just notice that if we chose to felt like we were worthy and that we could do it, if we just simply made the truth that we were as worthy as everybody else and just as significant. I'm doing a massive cleanup on all those and a super recode. Just taking a nice deep breath. We're just going to allow the body systems to just absorb these new decisions, absorb these new truths, and we're going to ask for the next obvious action into getting that life that we really know we want to create into closer perspective. What's just one thing that pops down into the field right now? I just hear surrender, just let go. You got this, just believe it, just do it, just, yeah. There may be other things. Maybe start looking at groups. Maybe are you trying to reach as many people as you can right now? Have you really done everything? What have you maybe always wanted to that you were just too afraid to with all those limiting beliefs? And just bringing all that up, tagging and treating it in the active experience right now. I'm doing a massive change history on all that. For the most amount of satisfaction and the less amount of difficulty. We're just going to ground all these in on all timelines, just asking that the body systems be moved through the energy systems, allowing anything that needs to be released from the body to simply just be pulled back, just like the layer of an onion. Or perhaps a petal on a lotus. Noticing there's still a lot of petals to open. As our energy systems start to align, the flower opens as it needs to simply honor and allow our wishes to come through. And Superconscious, please show us all the way that our wishes could come true right now. And the first thought and the best thought. We're going to ground those all into the matrix of the universe and into timelines 1, 2, and 3. Taking a nice deep breath again. And I'm just going to love you and leave you, ladies, to just stay in that field if you like. Just, it's fun. It's like this magic 8 ball that you always have rattling around in your head where you can just kind of tune in without, just play. Magic 8 ball says, what should I do? It's so fun. It's all a game. It's just we can let ourselves get caught up in that game of our unconscious trying to keep us safe and tell us those things that just sometimes don't end up helping as much anymore. So stay focused on what we can create. Always look at it, whatever's happening. This is interesting. Is this going to help me sort of stay in the moment? Okay, no, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to observe it. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It'll come to you. Just play. Just allow your intuition to just be with you. As that person you can kind of always ask those questions to. Just start trusting the answers because it gets a lot more fun then. People might think you're crazy, but if you're from California, then it's fine, right? All right, I love you guys. Have a fabulous day. I'm doing another recode tomorrow night. So I will post that. And I'm also doing one Friday night and then all next week. So you'll be sick of me by the time things are over here. But we're going to dive into all of these subconscious beliefs next week. So it'll be awesome.
We can't get enough, Jackie. We can't get enough. We can never be sick of you, honey.
Because it's just flowing, baby. It's
Never,
just
ever.
We can never get, just bring it on, bring it more. We want, receive. Thank you. Bye, ladies.
Love you
We
guys.
love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye,
from
Angel.